was that 2017?
I think so, because it was the year my daughter was born, and we were in that other house with a bar, and then we moved in here in 2019.
So
we didn't mean to live there for that short of amount of time. It just the market was doing what the market was doing.
Yeah.
The interest rates were low, and then we scooped this place up for nothing.
Right. During that time we refied from like it was like 4% is what we bought for, and we refied. Right now I think my rate's 2.8.
Oh wow.
So it's
dude,
like
yeah, we're 3.12 something, whatever, but
dude, it's compared to now they're like 7. Like double.
I wouldn't want to live here with that
double
interest
my
rate.
payment.
It wouldn't be good.
Appreciate
There we
that.
go. I just throw it up on the screen here. It's not that
sure.
we're that vain, but if comments pop up, I'll throw them over.
Oh, sure.
I think maybe move it a little closer to your mouth. Well, yeah, you could do
that better?
too. Yeah. All right. Let's
that
rip the
works.
tunes and get her going.
Yeah.
This is the Okayest.
Oh wait, what? Why isn't that working?
What's the delay on
this?
This
is the Okayest Hunter podcast.
Yeah, like a minute.
Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag. You hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Well, welcome back to the Okayest Hunter podcast. I'm Eric. I am joined today with Anthony Heller, our co-host of the day today. I'm not calling you a guest. I think I'm going to call you a co-host today because you do your own podcast. You've done this one plenty of times.
Yeah. It's always fun to be here.
Pretty natural.
It's nice to see like a professional setup.
That's comical. Professional-ish down here. I mean, it's very eclectic. We have lots of stuff, which is the point. And you followed Gary Vaynerchuk and saw his studio, so I felt I wanted to recreate our own version of that.
Got the cool stuff.
But we're brought to you by Nosler. So if you haven't shot Nosler or heard of Nosler, being in the Midwest, they're out of Oregon. Greg and Derek had the pleasure of touring the Nosler plant when they did their blacktail hunt out there, which was cool. I'm pretty jealous of that.
Dude, that looked like a really fun hunt.
Yeah.
Especially when you're out there you're not out there to shoot some mega. You're out there
to experience.
Yeah, to experience it and shoot one.
Did you like that hunt?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I thought that was fun. Cool. I really enjoy. One of the reasons I love going out of state, because you can just like toss. You can toss expectations aside and just like, what are you trying to shoot? Whatever's in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm after.
I just want to go home empty-handed and get some meat. No, it was a cool hunt, but yeah, and the Nosler rounds did their job out there for those guys. Incredibly, I think Derek was shooting the trophy grade, but for me, the whitetail country stuff is the most accurate thing that has been through my rifle. And everyone says like different rifles, like different rounds. So you got to kind of find your thing. Like this is the round for my rifle. I've never shot that consistently before.
Dude, that's sweet.
So at least for me, like I'm really thrilled with it.
That's nice to find, because then when you get your gun out for the one time a year before gun season,
I sighted him like, look at me, I'm a deadeye. This is great.
Right.
And Greg actually did shoot a pile of does with it, so he's putting the deer down with the whitetail country ammo. So yeah,
you get running on. Was he running around on the public?
He's got
that private little.
He had some permission from a farmer. And I don't know what he's helping chop down trees all summer, which he did again. So I think he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah. Good.
But Greg's on vacation, and so is Derek. So neither of them are here today. And I think we'll see more of Greg after July, when like fishing season's done and
slows up a bit.
Work stuff slows up a bit and all that jazz. And then Derek's on a vacation for the next 2 weeks. And you're actually I have a couple of like housekeeping announcement stuff, things to mention here, but our sweepstakes are live. So you guys have probably heard me talk about this for like the last month. If you're listening and have been listening, we have our inventory season giveaway that went live yesterday. So
tell me more. What is it?
Inventory season is a term we're making up because inventory, I used to have to do inventory when I was in college. I worked at Frito-Lay for PepsiCo, and like you'd have to go in on a weekend day when you weren't normally working. You'd have to count boxes, and in a warehouse, dude, it was terrible. And it sucked. I was like, But inventory for hunting doesn't suck.
No.
It's actually like you start to go through your gear. Where can't I find my left-handed glove? Or my right? I can't find this. I can't find that. I need new socks. So you start to take accountability, and you find all the stuff you left in your bag from last season when you like had your last hunt. You toss it somewhere, and your wife's like, "Get back in here. I need you."
Yeah,
and so you haven't looked at it.
I found an apple the other day. It was brown mush, and I couldn't figure out what it was at first. I was like, "What got in my bag?" And it was a brown mush apple.
Yeah, that'll decay real nice. So the idea being, it's time to take inventory of your gear, and also, like for those that are running trail cams and cell cams, inventory of the deer on the property. So we got Moultrie to partner with us on this. We're going to give away an annual subscription to cell cam plan plus the cell cam for the grand prize winner, and then the other 2 winners are just going to get the cell cams. We partner with Bear, so we're giving away a couple of Bear bows. We partner with a whole bunch of brands. Nosler's giving away a silencer can and a Whitetail Country ammo package, depending on your caliber. Gerber gear, we have these custom knives they made. These are going to go to someone. They're not mine, but I have them here just to see them.
Dude,
so
these things are sweet.
That one there says
made in the USA is what it says.
Yeah, and then that one is what does it say on that one?
Can't eat the horns.
Can't eat the horns. This one's never passed on a shooter buck. This is a foldable one. So
slick.
Yeah, like
nice.
There's only 3 of each of these. I won't have any for myself, which is sad, but someone will win these. Grand prize wins one of each. The other ones win one of right.
Sweet.
So lots of fun stuff to give away. You can go to okaysthunter.com, and on the first tab under our drop down, it's inventory season sweepstakes or giveaway.
When does it close?
July 31st. So we're going to run it for a month. Well, less than a month, because we just opened it on the 7th. And all you got to do is enter your name and email. That's it. Yeah. If you want more entries, we have all sorts of things you can do to like earn more entries. You could subscribe to our Spotify podcast. You'll earn 25 additional entries for doing that.
Ooh.
Our YouTube, if you submit what gear you actually want, you'll get more entries. If you submit a photo of one of your favorite hunts, you'll get more entries. So we're really trying to get people to engage. And the amount of bonus entries is like out of control. It's like 2,000. I mean, it's only been live for a day, and I think we have a little over 400 entries so far. And the bonus entries are close to like 2,000 because people are just racking up. They're like, I'm going to do it all.
Yeah.
Apparently, like I didn't know what to expect. So yeah, I think we're off to good. We're actually giving away like field and stream stuff too. So an annual subscription to their journal, and the grand prize winner will get concert tickets to their October concert.
Oh, that's
that they're doing. So like, there's just a lot of fun stuff. So it's an inventory season kind of, and a Quick Trip gas station gift card.
Oh, that's always needed.
So when you're making your trips to check your cams or play somewhere, get them out there, whatever you're doing, you can stop and get your snacks, your energy drink, and water.
When you have to stop to poop.
It's like a nice clean bathroom.
It is. Yeah. My wife's like, yo, we gotta, when we're doing road trips, we've been doing a bunch of road trips lately. And she's like, I got a quick trip only.
Yeah. You know what you're getting.
Exactly. That is nice. Yeah.
Otherwise you go to some sketchy like BP somewhere and you're like,
they hand you a key with a hubcap on it and you're just like, is this the right spot?
It's so gross. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. There was one spot. We did a trip down to Mississippi with the family just for a spring break, and we came back. We just needed gas, so we just like picked a couple spots. We went in and we opened the doors, and my wife was like, not sure this is the right place for us. And there was like, I swear to God, it was the first lot lizard I've ever seen. Like a real one. Do you know a lot lizard?
No.
Oh, it's like a hooker who hangs out in a parking lot.
That's what they're called?
I'm
like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah. So I saw her. I was like, I don't think she's just getting out of that semi for fun. And then my wife was like, yeah, let's just get gas and get out of here. I was like, well, and the kids were like, we gotta go potty. So I was like, okay,
kids gotta go. You gotta you gotta make.
So we went in, and the gas station, like all the shelves were basically empty except for a few things of chips and some drinks. I was like, this place is sketch. And then we went in there, and there was 3 toilets, and only one of them was working. One of them was like half missing. So it was just like, gross. All right, this is gonna be great. Let's just go and get out of here.
Sketch.
So that was my non-quick trip experience.
Right, like the two ends of the extreme there for sure.
Yeah.
No, we're doing stuff with Latitude also. We're giving away a Maverick saddle like kit and rat cubs thrown in their American, like, you got the little rat cub thing where you take the antlers off. It's an R2, so it's a set display, and it's got like the American flag kind of feel to it. So I think I covered most of it. If I probably left some things out because I can't remember everything on the fly. But so shout out to all our partners. I mean, you guys hear me talk about them every week on the show. If you want a discount for anyone that we actually partner with on the podcast, the logos are on the screen. Code OHP will save you range of percentage off.
Off the brands.
Yeah, but like Nosler's got 20% off ammo, which they're a premium ammo brand. So the 20% knocks it down and makes it affordable for our listeners, which is pretty cool.
That's sick. Yeah.
Big news. I'll just talk about it here because I don't know what's going to happen next week. You're our last guest to come into the studio. It's not going to happen ever again.
In this one?
Yeah.
It's toast?
It's done. All this stuff we just talked about being eclectic is no, it's not going to be here.
It's going to move?
We are signing a lease this week for a commercial spot in Oconomowoc, not too far, but we're going to move our studio to a new space. Nice. And so the whole like crazy, my wife takes the kids to grandma's, cleans the house. I'm scooping cat litter before you get here. I'm lighting freaking candles and spraying room spray. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like this crazy rat race. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
So it's pretty cool because like, was it 3 years ago? When did we build this room?
I don't know.
I think it was when my son Jude was born. So it was 2021 or 22, somewhere in there. This room got built
4 years ago. And
so we've been down here. It was upstairs for some time. I think you were up there once.
Mm-hmm.
You've been in every place. The last house, upstairs, down here. Like you've experienced the different seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully I can get to the new lease place.
Yeah. I think we're going to do some parties. Like I say parties, bro. I don't mean like rager. I just mean like we'll probably do some like, hey, who wants to get together? We're going to launch our new season 3 of the Okayest Hunter show.
I was going to say you should do some viewing.
So we could do a viewing thing. I have a projector and stuff. Like we could, let's drink some beers and watch it there or something.
Can we get a keg? I just would like to get a keg.
That'd be a good idea.
College glory days.
Just do like a keg stand.
Yes, get Greg going upside down on a keg stand.
Could you imagine?
That'd make my night.
Yeah. He got pretty rowdy. We're at turkey camp. He threw a few back, and we started arm wrestling everyone.
I saw those videos.
Yeah,
I saw some of those videos. That's great. Let's go.
Matt's like, oh, I just wanted a drink, and he's like, everyone picks on me because I'm the big guy. They always like want to fight the big guy. I was like, yeah, I want to take you down. Let's go.
Let's go. Come on.
So no, fun times. That's I think all the announcement stuff in terms of like talk track today. You have an archery event coming up. We have an archery event coming up. Your archery event inspired our archery event. At least that's where I was at your archery event, and I told Greg, I was like, we should do this.
Yeah.
So it's like not in a competitive kind of way, but like this is fun. So let's talk about yours because you started yours 4 years ago.
This will be the 5th year.
Yeah. So 3D playground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The playground 3D shoot. It's just outside of Dodgeville, Wisconsin. And I went a little bit different route. So I had submitted a couple photos with Reinhardt targets. And then they had reached out and asked if I wanted to partner with them, do some more content. And in return, they'll hook me up with a few targets and whatnot. So I took that on and I placed my order for the targets. And I got a few and I was like, oh, I could buy, a typical archery shoot, what is like 20 to 30.
Okay.
Right. And I had just done Bow Fest up in Superior, Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's in either Superior or Duluth. I can't remember which one. I was same place. So, so I was like, yeah, I could buy 15 targets and then I could run my own shoot. And so I asked my dad, I was like, hey, we got our 100 acres. My dad loves showing off the property just because it's got big hills, big cliffs. It's got a creek. It's got 4-wheel trails. It's got big mature stuff. It's got new growth stuff. This year we finally we have a whole new trail this year that goes to a big spring that we found that used to have a house on it, like a trapping cabin on it and stuff like that. So we're going to go by that this year at the shoot. So basically got a really cool, like pretty property that I was like, hey dad, you mind if, 20, 30, 40 people come out someday and we shoot targets, drink beer and eat food. And he was like, that sounds like a great idea. So I was like, cool. So let's do that. So that was 5 years ago. We so we have the 15 targets that basically the trail, most people describe it after they're done as like a mini total archery challenge. That's what most people describe.
Well, because it's such a it's a pretty rigorous.
Yeah, it's usually a mile and a half.
Piece of land, like
you're
the ups and the
sweating
downs.
your balls off by the time you're done.
True.
The walk out of the valley, everyone bitches about it. They're like, God, can we get a ride up the hill? Can we get a ride up the hill?
I think I've asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of those people.
So, yeah, it's 1.5 miles of trails, 15 targets. We charge $40 and that gets you prizes. It gets you entered in the lottery prizes, plus food and drink, and then shooting, and it's unlimited shooting. And this year, the first year I did 2 days, and then every year I've done just 1 day since then. And this year I'm doing 2 days again. Because I had Whale Tails. I went over to Whale Tails and was talking to those boys at the archery shop there. If you've never been to Whale Tails and you're in Wisconsin,
it's our go-to shop here.
Yeah. So we're like Dousman. Yeah, they're in Dousman. So Dousman, Wisconsin, just outside of Milwaukee. So yeah, I went and I got my new Elite. So I know you guys do Fred Bear. I have an Elite. Dropped that off there and then went to pick it up and was talking to them about the shoot. And they're like, we all work on Saturday. Everybody works on Saturday, but we're closed on Sunday. If you would open up on Sunday, we'll come drink Saturday night with you, stay in the campground, and we'll shoot it Sunday morning. I was like, deal. If you guys make it, I'll open it up on
If they don't make it, are you gonna
Oh yeah, I'm gonna I'll definitely call them because I got to go drop off a bunch of stuff for them too, to promote the shoot. So yeah, we're gonna run there. I guess we'll have Sunday open, so that'll be from 8 to 1, and then the regular day is 8 to 5, and kind of just hang out and have a good time. Yeah. So
how many targets again?
It's 15.
It's a lot of work for you. You do it. We were going to take your route and like do our own targets and I think you've heard the origin story of ours. We were going to do it at Huppleton Brewery. And happened to be the year that they had a lawsuit filed against them
Dude, that was a ridiculous scenario.
I don't know. They had just like some local person just thought they were too loud and stuff. So then they couldn't do events anymore.
Yeah.
So they bought a bar in the downtown area for their events.
Right.
And they're like, you could do it here. I was like, that's not going to work.
Right. I know. Yeah. You can't have
like you would set up one target. Like,
right.
This is not what I had envisioned. They had this huge property. We'd scoped it out. We'd planned it out. And
it was going to be sweet.
And then it was going to be work, but fine. And I was like, man, to do it at a brewery, like it was so cool. So I looked at all these other breweries and it just wasn't adding up. And the time we already picked the date.
So you had to just get it in.
So we went with Horicon Marsh Bowman, and now they're Horicon Marsh Archers, and they got a new facility this year.
Oh, really?
So real close to where they were, but brand new pole barn building, like state-of-the-art lanes, setup.
Same property though, right?
Different property.
Oh, they have a whole new
very close, but very different because that trash mound that was next to it, they bought the property.
I was wondering if that was going to happen. Right. And that dump they were encroaching, man. They were right there.
Yeah. And that was a cool property, even with the dump right there. It was still like really pretty woods. And so, different this year for us, but we don't have to do half of the work because
I know
it's already done. It's all there. And so, but we moved ours up this year because we had to change the date. Usually we did like the holiday weekend, Labor Day. And that was like hit or miss for some people. Some people are like, ooh, cool, it's a holiday weekend, I'll be there. Some people are like, ooh, man, that's a holiday weekend, I can't make it. I was like, interesting.
Yeah. So I almost always had mine on Father's Day.
I remember,
Yeah. So Father's Day was one of those like, it's my day. I get to go as a dad. And then other people were like, it's Father's Day. I got to go hang out with my dad. Right.
So or my kids or what.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like one of those things. So in this year, we just decided, I was like, I had talked with Tibbetts. Have you ever heard of Tibbetts Archery? They're a small shop, kind of over in like Mineral Point, so like west of Dodgeville. I think it's technically Mineral Point, but he was telling me they run an archery club. I think it's called like Seven Oaks or something like that. And he said, it's like, I was like, you guys have shoots all year long? He's like, yeah, basically. He's like, we have 3 or 4. I was like, so when is the best time? Is it right before hunting season? And he's like, that's usually the most consistent best time. The best shoots we have ever had, period, are in March.
What?
I was like, what? Yeah.
People are just ready to like.
I know. I said, what? He goes,
indoor.
You have a shoot in March and you have a pop-up 60-degree day. He's like, we can't.
But they're already all set for it.
Yeah.
It's
right.
different.
Yeah. So he's like, people show up and we will plan for 50 people and we'll get 120 or 140. You know, he's like, it's crazy. If that's like
that's like golf courses. Like it gets nice and people are like,
yeah,
I'm gonna go golf.
I'm golf, right?
They just can't wait to be out there doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this year we're doing it August 16th and 17th. Okay. That was probably an important bit of information.
How did we not talk about that part yet?
So yeah, August 16th, 17th, down, and the exact address is just outside of Black Hawk Lake. I think it's like 1746 County Highway BH. So it's the technically Cobb, but yeah, we run out there. It's our 100 acres. It's where I hunt. It's where my buddies hunt. And so there's definitely, I have planned the trails. So you were saying it's a lot of work, and it is, because you cut all these trails, and you got to, like, if you put a target out to 70 yards, you got to cut through 70 yards of shit, like, to get there. Right. And make an arrow path plus a retrieval path and stuff like that. So yeah, I have to go cut a bunch of that stuff, and that's all. It takes me usually like 2 days in total to do all that. Like, I'll go the couple weekends before and I'll cut extra trails and things like that. But yeah, so it's August. I guess I was saying it's August 16th, 17th, and that's where we'll kind of, I don't know, we'll see how it goes this year. I'm hoping, because it's closer to season, more people will be like,
that was our logic, like, to do it at the end of August. I was like, let's pick the last possible moment before the season starts. And we would lose out on people that were like, I'm leaving for elk hunting, you know?
Sure.
I don't think you're gonna have that problem being mid-August. And we're, I think, the weekend before you probably then, because ours is going to be August 9th this year.
Yes.
So we moved ours up a bunch, which is new. But then a lot of people are like, oh, this is great, I can finally come.
Sure.
So yeah, we've had people drive in from out of state, and a lot of people that are obviously here in the core area, but Horicken's like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but it's not that bad of a drive from the Milwaukee Madison area. It's
no,
like 45
it's
minutes.
pretty smooth. Like, you take 94 and then you take another road, and you just, that's kind of it. There's not much else to do, but it's not. We'll see what the new location is like. Cell reception was never great. I don't think that's ever a problem, but that deterred us from ever doing like our point of sale system and bringing merchandise, because it just,
because you can't.
It just didn't really. I was like, man, my card's not working. It's no internet. Like, so it just became like a headache, and then you're trying to deal with like a logistical problem while you're trying to run an event, and it just detracted. So we're like, we're not going to sell stuff, and then we got real. Like, we went further. Like, let's just go harder with not selling stuff. Let's go real hard on raising money then. So we'll do raffles to raise money for conservation, and everything we do, we give back to. It all goes to covering costs of Horican Marsh Archers, which is their nonprofit, and then everything else goes back to Waukesha County Land Conservancy, who's one of our donation partners for the business, Okayest Hunter.
Okay.
And last year I think we raised like, I had been like close to $1,000 or something.
Oh, that's
and just like raffle stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I do the raffle.
Yeah.
Bring cash, right? Don't they have a ATM in there?
I don't think they did.
Oh, okay.
Again, internet.
Sounds like
So I don't know. Definitely bring cash. I mean, you're good about it. But we also do the Eventbrite, so I get people to pre-register, because it helps with head count and food. Sure. We're doing T-shirts and tumblers and coffee this year, and doing a swag bag. So we're trying to like give people more. You know, like, here, you can have some stuff for coming. Like, this is fun.
No, that's cool. Yeah, another reason to stop at Quick Trip, free ATMs.
That's a good point.
That's right. Yeah, because I would always come through Horicon, and I always swing into.
Dude, do you have the Quick Trip rewards?
Yeah.
Do you know, if you just, I have so many points, I didn't realize this, and I should know better because we're working with them. But I have enough to buy my family Brewers tickets for free.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't looked into that. I always just like my rewards points. I worry my kids love the strawberry milk there. So every time I get gas,
like the chocolate milk.
Yeah. So, but we will, like, every time we get gas, like, can we get a strawberry milk? I'll be like, I don't know how many points I have.
But they're not any different than us, because every time you stop, you're probably getting like,
oh, I know.
You know what
it's
I mean?
hard.
You're
it's
like,
hard to not.
It's hard to like when someone
away.
Can I get this? You're like, no. But if it's like someone said no to you, be like, what do you mean? I'm gonna go get my energy drink, you dick.
Right? Yeah. I'm gonna go get
my wife did that too much. She's like, they want chocolate milk in the morning. I'm like, why? And she's like, do you have coffee every morning? I'm like, that's fair.
can't argue that one.
It's like, oh, god dang it, you're right. I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
No, but they have the app, and I wouldn't just. I'm not gonna just like go to a Brewers game, I don't think. But now I might, because I can get all the tickets. Like, why wouldn't I? Now I'm kind of like, oh, maybe we should plan a day.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's kind of neat.
What about the last few years? I think your big grand prize was giving away
the bows,
and it's not based on score. It's just as long as you turn in your scorecard.
Yeah, well, the
that.
first year we did lowest score,
okay,
which was hilarious because it was kind of like embarrassing.
Sure.
But then it was like, well, this is bittersweet.
Right.
And my buddy Joel's the one that won. It was not rigged by any stretch, but he's like, I almost didn't turn my card in because I was so embarrassed with my score. And I was like, well, you probably need a bow the most then.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, okay. So, and then the last couple of years, we've done the exact middle score. So we take all the scores, average it out, and whatever is closest to that average wins.
Sure.
Because it's Okayest.
That works. Yeah. Just okay.
And then one year, Derek's daughter won.
Oh, no way.
Which was cool. She won the pink bow from Bear, and she was like, so. It was her birthday that day, and she won. It was wild. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Karma's coming in.
It was pretty special.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's cool. I think he's glad it's not on her birthday weekend this time too. Like, my wife would not let me go. I'm like, you have a better wife than mine, maybe, because mine would be like, you're gonna go to this archery event on your daughter's birthday, and Derek is like bringing his daughter, and she's winning a bow. So I guess it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. So, have you been to the new course yet in Horicon?
No, I don't. I'm a member. I'm like probably the worst member. I don't participate.
Probably the best member. You pay the fee.
Well, I kind of think that too. I'm like, I pay extra fees because you're supposed to like volunteer your time.
Sure.
And that goes towards your membership fees.
Yeah.
I volunteer 0% of my time, and therefore my fees are higher.
Yep.
So kind of like, you guys get more money from me. I don't squabble. I host an event that brings more people to you. Like,
right.
It seems like a pretty good deal.
I don't beat up your targets.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I do want to go. It's not so close that it's like easy to be like, I'm gonna go. It's like it's a thing. You have to like make a thing out of it. So
you do, yeah. And that's one of the reasons, so much of our lives nowadays. You're a dad, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
We're both working, trying to do multiple jobs, things like that. And you're like, all right, I got to shoot my bow. Like, how can I get in 20, 30 reps as fast as possible? Because I got like 20.
That is a great way to do it. Like, going to a shoot is so great. It's the targets are more geared towards real life scenarios versus like if I go lob some darts at my target block, it's pretty 20 yards, standing right in front of it, letting it rip. Like it's still reps, it's good, but when you are taking like shots at your course and you got to angle down 20 yards of deck, or it's like, what do you expect in a tree stand?
Yeah.
Bend at the hip, like you're not doing that in your backyard.
No. And it's like as a busy person, you want to just walk out your backyard and shoot some shots, right? And you want to just walk out to an archery club that's 2 minutes down the road. But even just getting in the car, getting your bow, like that deters. Because I have an archery shop that's 10 minutes, or an archery club that's 10 minutes away, and I still don't go to it because it's
like the gym.
Yeah.
To a degree. If it's not part of your
100%.
routine or like on your way, if you have to go especially in winter, like then it's totally screwed. I don't want to go in the cold.
No, but then you want to shoot in your backyard, but you don't get any real life stuff. So you need to mix in 3D shoots. And I was talking to one guy a couple months ago, and he was talking about target panic. It's like, dude, I don't know how I got this target panic. It just kind of popped up. It's this, it's that. I was like, are you shooting at any 3D targets, or are you only shooting at like a block? And he was like, oh, I just shoot at a block. I was like, dude, you gotta go shoot at a 3D target. Because when you remove the circles and you just are like, for me personally, this is if you're experiencing target panic, you go to a 3D target and you just like put it where you want to hit the deer. That's all you have to do. Put it where you want to hit the deer and let it rip. That, like, all of a sudden you can work your way out of target panic because there are no circles. There are no different colors. It's just a brown square basically. And you got to put it in the armpit, and you do that naturally because that's where you want to hit it, not because there's a yellow dot there. Right. So I think that helps a ton of people get out of target panic.
That's pretty good. I liked at your event. I didn't go last year, but the year before. So I don't know if you did or not last year. I'm assuming you did, but you did the, like the shootout at the end, like the elimination.
Yeah.
And everyone's watching the two people.
Oh yeah.
And you're only going one at a time. And that got the nerves going pretty good.
It did.
Like that was the closest I've come to feeling the nerves I would have in a stand in a manufactured way or like a synthetic way. And I've never had that before. Like so I think like a tournament or a league or some sort of like
something will put pressure
something a
on
little bit
you.
more competitive can give you that, like a target panic, some nerves. Those are good things to work through.
It is. Yeah, we do the shoot down like middle of the day. Everybody kind of the course at the playground, it takes like 2 to 3 hours to shoot, depending on how many people are out there. And people like, it takes 2 hours to shoot it. It's a mile and a half. You gotta kind of dick around a little bit, but yeah, it takes about 2 hours to shoot. And then you get back, and most people will do a round and then they'll come back and then it'll be about lunchtime because it'll start at like 8, 9 o'clock.
At that point, you're hungry. You just burn a bunch of calories.
Yeah. So then people come back, they'll start eating, and then we'll put everyone's names in a hat. And last year I messed up with it because I did a double elimination and it took way too long. Whereas the year before when you were there, it was single elimination. Everyone put their name in a hat. You draw. If you win, it's closest. It's like 36 yards or 40 yards closest to the center. It's like close to the 12 ring, and if you win, you move on. That's it. And so yeah, like, and the way it sets up is everybody can sit under the porch of the cabin and whatever and just watch you. So you're like shooting down a line. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
I remember the one year I got there and I like went to just like, line up and I lost an arrow like out of the gate. And I was like, what the fuck?
I remember
what the hell? I was like, how did I lose an arrow? I didn't even begin yet.
Yeah. It was like 25
I was so frustrated. And I couldn't find it. It was gone. It was right there. I was like, God dang it.
Yeah, I think I get like 2 to 3 arrows a year. My dad will be like, found an arrow like randomly.
Yeah, of course. There's so many arrows littered in your property.
Yeah. I remember my buddy Riley last year. He came with 5 and he walked away with 1.
Oh gosh.
He's like, dude, I lost 4.
Yeah, because some of the shots are hard. You're shooting in a shaded, shadowy areas under rocks, uphill. Like some of the targets are so overshadowed you can't even like make it out all the way.
Yeah, that wolf always gets people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part of it is like
the river one's cool too with the carp or like the
beaver.
Yeah, the beaver. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, there's both both of those go into the creek. But yeah, I guess the idea is I have friends who like really enjoy shooting and difficult shots. So I want to do some, like the bear is always fun because it's 60 yards uphill in a power line cut. So you got to at least have a stable platform. Then you got to shoot uphill at this bear at 60 yards. And it's a standing bear. It's like 4.5 feet tall or so. That one's fun. But then like I'll set the Black Panther, which you can't see the 12 ring on. You can't see the 10 ring or anything like that. And I'll put it up in like under a cliff in a shaded spot of the cliff. So it's just like this black image at like 32 yards and you
can barely make it out.
Yeah. And so like, yeah, you're letting it rip on that too. And that's like some of the more, it's not your standard shoot where it's like 25 to 35 yards and
that's our shoot.
You got it. Yeah.
Ours is like gravy.
Yeah, it's right. So, but there's a place for both of them.
Yeah.
I 100% think there's a place for both of them because like yours is a lot of targets, you get a lot of reps and you're shooting 25 to 35 yards and you're not losing arrows and you're getting, 5s, 10s and 12s.
Yeah.
And then you come to like what was the one up in Superior? I forgot what it called.
Total. Well, there's
total archery challenges, and then there's
in there Bowfest or something.
Bowfest, like yeah. So then you go to Bowfest, and those things are super difficult, and you're tossing arrows. You're losing. You're coming home with like 20-30% less arrows, and then like my shoot's kind of like a mix between because you got like some shots that are 20 to 25 yards that are decent, like easy, break shots, and then all of a sudden you turn the corner and you're looking at the ram at 56 uphill across the creek, and you're looking down at the ground and you're trying to figure out how you're going to send this thing. And I've missed that target, and I'm like,
dude, I'm not trying to lose arrows right before hunting season either. Damn it,
right? I know.
Like, we were partnered with Method when they were around, and that I was like, we're good. Okay, Method's got our back. We don't have an arrow partner now. I'm like, damn it, I gotta freaking deal with this now.
So I gotta buy some arrows, right? So I don't want to lose any.
Right?
Yeah,
yeah, they're not cheap.
No, they aren't. But
what are you shooting these days?
What am I? Ultra arrows. So
are those the crispy ones? I
think
Ultra View is.
I don't think crispy. Yeah, Ultra. Yeah, crispy is Ultra View.
Yeah, okay, wrong thing.
Levi Morgan is Ultra Arrows.
Okay.
So the outdoor group who owns Elite Archery, CRB. No, not
It's only a
CRB.
handful of
CBRE.
conglomerates. Yeah.
Yeah. They own I think it's why can't I think of them? It's a broadhead company. They're really Slick Tricks. So they're good broadhead companies. So they own some great companies. And one of them is Ultra Arrow. So when they came out, it's like, yeah, I'll give these a shot. And they've been fantastic. Like I'm a fan. So yeah, bought those, but I shoot the iron will covers and all that stuff with them. So I do a lot of practicing because each of my arrows are like $50.
Yeah. I mean, I still got some of the old method ones up here.
Yeah. Dude, those
so I killed
method
both
ones
deer
were great.
with like it's like both these deer got it with the method art.
I had heard that Isaac was starting it up again, but I don't think it like took off.
I don't know.
He tried to.
I think I wouldn't write it off yet. I wouldn't write it off yet. It's Isaac. I mean, that was why I liked working with him. I liked Isaac. I told him like, dude, if you're close, I'll wait out. I'll wait.
Right. He
because
spun it up, but I don't know whatever happened with it.
He sold, I think, I don't know if it's the IP or like the inventory he had. Someone did take over what he was doing.
Yeah, vector,
to a degree.
Or method. Vector method.
And then he was going to do something a little bit more nuanced. But building a company is hard.
It is.
So, and takes time to get the right pieces in the right place. And it's and I work with a lot of companies, and there's a reason I don't have a product company. Like this company's hard enough as it is. Media's a whole different ballgame, but we've tried product, and it's even just like the regular stuff, like shirts are hard.
Yeah.
Even that stuff isn't super easy.
No, it's not.
And everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not paying $30 for a hat." I'm like, you also don't want to buy it from China now, do you?
Right.
Let's talk about that for a second, because there ain't no way you're getting it for less than what I can do if I buy it from over there. Like it's a whole different paradigm. If I want to make any profit for the business, it's a whole different thing.
It is.
So I can't imagine what it's like to build some of your machining products or assembling things, and
Yeah, I mean, you've heard of Origin, like Origin camo, and
Origin
that's
the Jocko.
Yeah. Pete, I forget Pete's last name, but Pete owns it. Jocko was in it. Cameron Haynes was in it, but Cameron Haynes is out.
He's out. Who is he? He's with Sitka now.
Yeah, he's with Sitka, and I don't know. I've personally, a lot of these companies, like they will give ownership. Like Jocko probably owns part of. This is all hearsay.
Oh yeah,
but I'm willing to bet that Jocko owns part of Origin.
Sure.
I think Joe Rogan probably owns part of Origin.
Yeah,
but he's just kind of like a silent. Yeah,
much
like maybe a couple points.
Like Eric Church and Morgan Wallen own Field and Stream, but like
I
never talked to them when I worked with Field and Stream. They have a team of people that manage and like run the business.
Right.
And exactly. These guys, you'd think, I was like, can we get them as influencers for this? We're launching the journal. Like,
they're the owners.
It's pretty hard. Like, we got to talk to his agent. I'm like, damn. I mean, they own the company. We can't get a hold of them. So I imagine it's something to that effect.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like silent money. To me, it's like silent money partners. Jocko's obviously more active in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like with Cameron Ames leaving, I was like, man, he must have like sold his shares out or something. Or
I don't know. I don't think there is anybody better than Sitka. You would have to try really hard to convince me otherwise. And it's funny coming from the Okayest Hunter to say that, but they're owned by Gore. And even though other brands can work with Gore, no other brand can work with Gore in the way that Sitka works with Gore, because it's literally owned by them. So Gore grants Sitka like different R&D.
Right.
They can literally make stuff that no other company can make. Most other companies that aren't working with Gore are just getting their stuff from the same factory overseas and white labeling it and putting a brand on it. I don't think that's the case for Origin because they're here.
Yeah. So that's what I was bringing up, was just like, they started the USA stuff at the right time.
Yeah.
Right. But
yeah, it's tough. People want to buy US, but then
they don't want to pay the price.
We've had supply chains built out overseas for 30 plus years, or you know what I mean? Like it's not a light switch.
No,
it takes a lot of time to build relationships and find a company and get the sample and make sure it's good. And it's a lot to go through all those paces.
Yeah.
I mean, just switching fucking hat manufacturers was a nightmare. I was like, good thing we're not like a real company.
Right. Oh shit. Yeah. I know. When I was looking at buying a clothing company, and I went through that process and I put an offer in and everything like that on it. And when we were talking through the logistics of how they get material and the time frames and when you have to place your orders and how you have to
your
do
MOQs
that.
and
It's wild. You need to predict what you're going to sell 9 to 13, 14 months in the future.
It's terrifying. You're just placing weird bets.
Right.
You're
I'm
going to write a check up front for half so they can start the process. I'll pay the other half when I get it. Now I have all this merchandise that I need to sell.
And so I need a good,
I better have good marketing and sales channels and distribution and retail. And it's a lot, man.
The cash flow,
and you're not competing with other brands as much as you compete with literally everything.
Sure. Yeah.
Like as a human on social media, I might get served up an ad for, I don't know, something for my kids. It's like your share of wallet can only go so far.
Yeah.
And I'm not just voting my dollars towards hunting stuff. I have all these other things I need to buy as a husband, father, homeowner.
Yeah. Dude, it's pretty wild. And so the clothing line stuff, I mean, you're throwing a ton of money, right? $50, $100, $200,000 down, and then you got to pay them $200,000 in 6 months after you get everything.
Yep.
And then you got to go, okay, now I need $150,000 for marketing to sell all this stuff.
And if you do it direct to consumer, you're onesie twosie your way through it. And so you really want like some big POs from like a retailer.
Yeah. And
then you have to have a certain margin.
But then you need to work with your margin, because if you have to add up all those costs, then you go, okay, well, I bought this shirt from China for $52 and I'm going to sell it for $178 because that means I make $20 on this thing, right?
Yeah.
So after you've input all the costs of everything that comes through. And if you're
good, you're like us, and I don't say we're good, but our P&L is about as sophisticated as I've ever seen a P&L. If I showed it to you, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, what? It's oddly detailed. Thank you, Tyler. And thank God we have Tyler, because otherwise this business wouldn't be a thing. But like cost of goods sold, shipping costs, like marketing costs, design costs, ad spend, like all of this stuff. By the time it gets to the bottom, I'm like,
overhead, warehouse,
how did we lose
shipping
money? We sold this and we don't have anything to show. What's the point of this?
Right. I don't think people understand that you literally can't sell a hat nowadays for $15 and make money.
No, you'll lose money. And you could do a drop ship thing. You could be like, oh, well, I'll just use, Teespring or Printful or Printly or pick one. I don't know. But the cost for them to print and pack and pick and ship your order, they erode your margin.
Yeah.
So then there's no meat left on the bone for you to reinvest back into your business.
No.
So then you're just selling hats for what? There's nothing. You're just making
no money.
There's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of folks, I feel bad because I've been through this for some time now. They'll be like, hey, I want to start a apparel company. And I'm like,
okay.
All right, good luck.
Right?
Like you gotta, we try pretty hard. And like, unless you're selling $1 million worth, this is not going to be your living.
Right.
You better love the shit out of this stuff or you're going to not want to do it.
Right.
And,
or what is your, like at the end of the day, do you need 30 grand to live?
Yeah, that depends, right? Like 60? How much you need. Because if you sell $1 million worth of total revenue of a lifestyle apparel brand company, you could maybe, if depending on how you're managing shit and what your margins look like and what your supply chain is, 50 to 100K total. And if you have a business partner like I do, and we got to divide that, so now we're talking 25 to 50K.
Right.
And if you haven't optimized your life in such a way where you can live off of that, like it ain't full time.
Right.
Not a chance.
And think about that. $1 million is
that's the bottom line of $1 million.
Probably that's
a ton of
5,000 pieces.
Yeah.
Right at $20 a piece.
And that's the thing. Like so then I'm getting to some marketing bullshit, but your average order value, you cannot scale a company if your AOV is less than $50.
What's AOV?
Your average order value. So by the time a consumer checks out, if they're not average $50 per order across the year or whatever, you won't have enough to scale to hit the next bench and work your way up.
Gotcha.
So if you're selling a hat for $30, that ain't going to cut it. You know how many freaking hats you have to sell for $30 to put a dent in something? When you got companies like First Light that sell a jacket for $500.
Right.
They don't need to sell that many jackets to hit their nut. You got to sell a shit ton of hats to hit yours.
Yeah.
So you go to a trade show and you got to pay $2,000 to exhibit. You got to pay for hotel, gas, like food, which adds up quick, believe it or not. And beers. Someone's got to pay for the lap dances for the big guy, like,
that's right.
And then like, by the time the trade show nets out too, you're like, we sold a bunch, and you're like, we didn't make shit because you had to pay all this money out. It's crazy.
It is wild. And I've had friends that over the years are like, oh, why don't you do this? Like, why is this thing so expensive? That's the best part. It's like, dude, I can't do that hat's like $35. And you're like, yeah, well, think about that hat. It's made in the US. It had to be shipped. It's got to be marketed. It's got to be this. It's got to
everything US costs more than what it costs. Even by the time it gets here, it still costs more than what you would have paid overseas, even with tariffs right now still.
Yeah.
Because we haven't built, no one wants to do the jobs that they're doing over there.
Right.
No one wants to do that shit.
Rates, for the rates.
For the rates, precisely.
Right.
And so that it's like this weird catch-22. I don't know where it's all gonna go. All I know is
either.
They kicked the can again. Like we were supposed to have an answer like today, I think, about like the tariffs. And now it's pushed out to August. I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me. Like it was 90 deals, 90 days. Let's go July. We're gonna finally figure out where we land, and now it's like kick the can down the road again.
Haven't figured it out yet. Yeah,
just pick it. Just pick the deal. I don't know. Like just call it if we're gonna keep doing that, because we just need to know what is it going to be as businesses. And I have so many clients across the spectrum where it's like it's like hovering, waiting to land.
Yeah,
it's like the fly that you keep shooing away. Dude, the thing just wants to land somewhere, and it won't.
Right now, the deer flies are horrible.
Oh my god.
But yeah, dude, I don't deal with that. Is not part of my daily life at all.
I just see all the stuff, and I'm like in the weeds on some things, and I just am like, you have no idea. Like this is not that. It's not that simple, and it could be if you started that way, like some people did. If you were a legacy business and you started a way that aligned with things how it was built before, that's why you would have built it that way.
Right.
30 years, you're not just going to undo 30 years and have a new plan tomorrow.
No.
It's crazy. So is anyone starting now? Like, yeah, start that way. Sure. That makes sense. Probably. Like you can probably figure that out.
Yeah, you'd have to figure it out.
But it depends on what you're building. Like there's some things like China, they're just actually better at it than we are. And some things we're not good at. It just depends.
Right.
The fabric stuff, I feel like it's, and people making clothes since the beginning of freaking time, basically, Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a commodity.
Because like the origin jeans are what, $110 or $120 is a pair of jeans. So like if you want to buy those, like that's what they cost. And like you could go to Kohl's and get a pair for $25, right?
It's weird, dude. And you don't. So
you're good.
My cousin was just on the Dropping Pins podcast with Derek.
Okay.
I'm so thrilled about that. I'm just
going
to throw all my other guests to the curb here that I've ever had, because this is my new favorite episode ever. Because Jeremy is one of those guys who doesn't have any social. He's not known, but in the people that actually know him in his circle of like real life friends, he is one of the best hunters.
Okay.
And he's got the walls to show it, and it's incredible, but also no ego to go along with it. He rolls up in his Honda Civic. It's beat to shit. He's a carpenter. He's got stuff all up in his car for work. And I still think I had my truck at the time. I think I did. I don't remember. Because I just gotten rid of it like 2 years ago. And we're speed scouting a property to just figure out, are there deer occupying this property or not? He's got jeans on and a shirt. Grabs his longbow, throws over his back, goes. He's like, I have my phone, my knife, and my bow. None of all these gizmos and gadgets that we fuck around with. Like there's no mobile setup. It's like, I don't even know if he had boots on. I don't know what he was doing, but he's like moving super fast, and he gets it done every year, and has none of those other things that like. But I like the gear. It's like I'm like the Sitka's got that mosquito garment that keeps the mosquitoes like from biting you. I'm like, that's pretty special.
That's pretty nice.
Like that's
right.
Maybe I'll just bring that, okay, Jeremy? Like I'll just bring that, and then I'll bring nothing else.
Those like if you gave that piece to Jeremy, would he wear it?
I probably not. I don't think he would. I don't think he gives a shit. Oh. He just is like, man, I don't need that. I remember one year I showed up, and he's so nice. He would never say anything bad. He just wouldn't. But he's like, kind of got a lot of stuff there. Probably put a lot of that back. You're not going to need that while we're hunting today. We're going to be moving pretty quick. I was like, oh, really? I don't need all the stuff that I normally have. I feel like I might. What if I need? Because as a hunter, you kind of have like this hoarder mentality.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I might need that though. Like, I'm not going to get rid of that thing in my garage because I might need it. I might need that screw for something.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
So you just keep it. And so I feel like that's what that's with hunting. It's kind of like, what I might need that. Right. So you just start bringing everything.
Do you know what tree we're getting into?
Yeah. Right.
And Jeremy's probably like, we're not
doing that.
We're just going to sit at the base of it.
I listen to him because he's far more successful than I've ever been. So I'm like, yeah, you've killed bigger deer at, and all of them have been within like 5 to 10 yards. And he'll be like, I'm like, oh, you want to go hunting? He's like, well, we want to wait for like a 4 to 8 mile an hour wind. If it's not that much, or if it's a little bit higher, we're not going to go. I was like, what? What does that mean? What do you mean? Yeah. He's like, we need to be able to see certain things. There needs to be enough wind in our favor, but we still have to see. It's a very visual thing. I'm like, dude, this is what's happening right now. We hunting the same species that I'm used to hunting. So it's a really good episode.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out. I have a long drive to Kansas City tomorrow.
But just back to the point of it's $150 for this pant. You probably don't need it, but sometimes your money's got to go somewhere. Like, right? You might as well spend on things that you enjoy and like and think will have a benefit or whatever you're into.
I think all of us, at our core, we have a code of ethics and priorities and morals that we all want to live by. And if I told you tomorrow that, hey, you can pick out anything, and whether it's from China or the US, it's the same price, which one are you going to buy? You're going to pick hopefully you're going to pick the US every single time.
Yeah.
And so then if I say, hey, the US stuff is 10% more, are you going to pick the US stuff 100% of the time still, even though it's 10% more?
People don't.
Right.
And they vote with their dollars, not their mouth.
Yeah, exactly. So,
just like when you say, hey, who wants to buy this hat that I'm making? Yeah, sick, got to have it. And then you put it for sale and like,
no one buys it.
What the hell happened? I thought everyone wanted it.
Yeah.
Guess not.
Exactly. So like that's the crux of it all is when I buy the Origin jeans, I'm like trying to buy USA. And when I have an elite bow right now, but before that, like I was on a mission to do all Wisconsin gear. So I was going to do HHA, Matthews, and there's a couple other companies that are in the US. And so you could get, or not the US, in Wisconsin, so you could get a fully set up Wisconsin bow and put all your money towards Wisconsin companies. And then I had shot an elite for a while and I got in touch with the elite and like everything worked out. I really like their bows. So I'm just like, hey, I'm going to go do this. But at the end of the day, I think people do have that moral hierarchy of like, okay, I want to buy US, but what am I willing to spend? And for me,
I wonder what it's a threshold,
right?
So like you want it until it hits certain. You're like, okay, well, I can justify. Maybe I won't do this product or
right. But see, like I have the Origin jeans, I have a bunch of Origin shirts and whatnot. But like if I want to buy a hat, this hat is Richardson 112.
That's like the hat.
It is, and it's made in China. And I asked for the playground shoot. I was like, hey, I want some USA hats and I want some USA clothes.
I don't think there's anyone that does it.
And there were a couple brands and I got samples of them and they were awful. And so I was just like,
we got in trouble for that. I would say trouble. We were running an ad with the Richardson hat because that's the ad. But then we switched. Our supply chain follows the same supply chain as Richardson.
Okay.
I forget how it works specifically. Tyler could tell you, but if you buy the Richardson, it's the same stuff as you would get if you did it yourself. The difference is it comes, they take the panels that make up a hat and they assemble it as one and then you get it here. I'm going to fuck this up. When we do it, it's very similar, but like they're putting the panel together themselves. So like we're not getting a pre-assembled paneled hat. It's like getting assembled.
Oh, okay.
And so even though it's following the same freaking place. It's literally the same plant. It's just a different process of building.
Okay.
And that was enough to like, and it's white labeled. So like everything says Okayest Hunter. Nothing says Richardson, which we thought was like a win.
Yeah.
This is sweet. It all says our stuff. This is our hat. This is great. This ain't a Richardson 112. You guys duped me. We're pissed. This ain't comfy. I'm like, the fuck it ain't. It's the same hat. Like, but okay, fine. Like thanks for calling us out. I guess quite literally, we never said it was a Richardson 112, but in the ad, you can see that that's what it is.
Okay.
So people are losing their mind on one of our hats last year.
No shit.
I was like, okay, we gotta gut that ad. We'll remake
Yeah.
the same concept with the literal other hat. And then it never has it said it's going to be Richardson. Like that is good.
But it just looks like it.
Yeah. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I'm telling you, it's the same process. It's the same supply chain. Not same process, slightly different process. Like they're building the panels versus getting it pre-assembled. So I don't know what that looks like, but it's wild, dude.
Yeah. So like but if you were to take a Richardson 112, and a lot of people can sell them and make a couple bucks on them for $25, and you were to produce them in the US, and you put a Richardson 112 on the table for $40 and one for 25 and said, this one's made in the
There's
US.
just no way you're buying the same product for more.
Oh yeah. But are people going to buy the $40 Richardson 112, or are people going to buy the 25? And I'm like, I think people have,
some would.
Right. I like
but not everyone has pockets to make decisions like that. That's
there are
thing.
days I would.
Yeah.
There are days where I'm like, dude, I got paid today. Like, I'll buy the $40 hat. Fuck it.
It's like the toothpaste tube. Like, I can squeeze it a bunch. And then at the end, you're like trying to get every little. Man, there's so much in here.
That's the protein powder conundrum, dude. You're like, oh yeah, I'll do a scoop and a half today. Then towards the end, you're like, son of a bitch, how can I conserve this? Yeah, exactly. Or the pre-workout. So
yeah, what's a meme? Like I can spend, $5,000 on hunting gear in a day. I can also stretch $20 2 weeks. It really depends on where you're at.
Exactly.
And if it's that stretch part, you ain't buying that American one.
No, yeah.
But if it's that first 2 weeks, you're like, bro, I got this. Yeah, totally different.
So I think there's certain aspects of life where people are willing to spend certain amount of money. And I like personally, lately the Origin jeans, they resized all their shit. And so I'm kind of pissed about that.
Are they following the Kuiu model? Because you fit the mold.
No,
they're only making stuff for like fit dudes.
The Kuiu mold, and they had fit great a 34.
Then they realize that's a small percentage of the total demographic because the rest of us are fat asses. So they're like, man, we're not making any money because we're like alienating an entire group of people.
So I had 34 32s and they fit fucking great. And I had I had 2-3 pairs of jeans for those. And I wore those basically every day. Like those are the jeans that I wore throughout the whole year. And then they started to wear out. And so I was like, hey, I need to get some new ones. And I ordered them. And the 34 32s are now
I wear a 34 32. That's great.
Dude, so look at that. You think I'm fit and we wear the same fucking jeans.
That's funny. Well, I know you're fit because your mile run time is insane. So
yeah, I'm trying to keep that where it is. That's me staving off like life.
I don't know.
I
will try to make it, and I'm like, dude, my lung is going to give out, or I don't. It's like I'm not. I used to be able to run a 7-minute mile. That's not. I can't do it.
I can't
like.
You just gotta practice.
Like my kids could be there dying, and I wouldn't make it in time.
Dude,
I physically think I can't do it, which is sad.
I had a conversation with a coworker of mine who's also a hunter, Luke Shower, if you guys know who he is. And he was like, we had a 5K for work. We all had this work trip and they had a 5K in the morning. And he was like, are you actually going to run that thing? I was like, yeah, I'm going to run that thing. He's like, how fast could you run it? I was like, I don't know. Is it 3 miles? I was like, I don't know, maybe 22 minutes, 23 minutes or something like that. So he was like, dude, that's like a 7-minute mile for 3 miles. And I was like, yeah, I could probably do that. Dude, that's fucking fast. So that was
is fast.
I was like, yeah, probably could do that. And then they made us all run together. So there were no winners, no losers, which was
annoying,
like hilarious. Yeah. So but then I came home and I ran a mile. I ran 2 miles and I ran it in 16 minutes. So it was at 2:08. And he was like, bro, I thought you were faster than that. So then the next day I was like, yeah, fuck you. So then I ran I ran a 12:32 mile. So 6:15 per mile for 2 miles. And he was like, okay, that makes more sense.
That's wow.
Yeah.
I did a 20-minute 3-mile run. That's the fastest known measured time 3-mile run that I'd ever done.
Dude, that's really good.
When I was young, like
less than 7 minutes.
19 or whatever. That's not. I'm gonna be 40.
That's half your life ago.
Dude, I love running in the heat.
I fucking hate it.
I just like dude, it's so terrible, and that's why I like it. I don't really know how to explain it. So the harder it feels, the happier I am about it. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is fucking terrible.
This is work.
Oh, this is what I wanted. I'm dying. Yes, I'm dying. Like, it's so the self-talk is so funny.
Yeah.
Like, if you could be in my brain for those moments, like I'm like, oh, I should just cut it short. I'm gonna turn right and head back home. It'll be an easy 3 mile. And then some other part of my brain like jerks the steering wheel and is like, you piece of shit, you're going all the way. And then they're like, oh, I guess I'm doing 5 miles now. What the hell happened? And then I'm like in the middle of that, I'm like, this is so stupid. It's noon. The sun is cooking me. I can feel my skin burning.
Yeah.
And I love it. But then on the nice weather days, it is so easy for me to do better times. I'll like hit a 8-minute mile versus like somewhere around 9 minutes, you know, like I'll shave a whole minute off just because the weather changes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Like I mean, when I run when I was running a lot, when I was couple years ago, I did a marathon, and that was a fun self-talk. I think you need to do hard shit, like shit you haven't done to figure out kind of where you stand with yourself. Cause that was one of when I did the marathon, I had friends ask me like, are you going to finish? And I was like, well, that's kind of like the worst question. Cause that tells me a lot about you. Cause you're thinking about not finishing. It. Yeah, I was like,
that's the point of doing. Whether I walk or not is a question. Like, and of course I will. I'll probably walk.
Right. So, but so it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah.
And so, like, my time was 3:30. I was trying to hit 3:30, which was like an 8-minute. I think that's an 8-minute mile for the whole thing. I can't remember anymore.
That's disgusting.
Something like that. Yeah. So, and I was on it until mile 19. And then like my hips and my hamstrings just did not want to keep going. And there was a ridiculous moment of like so much.
You're like, kind of, why am I even bothering to do this?
Yeah, it was.
If I'm going to hurt myself, I should just probably stop. Like, this is dumb anyways.
I was laughing and crying at the same time because I was in so much like pain and my body was saying stop. And I was like, no, you're not giving up. You're going to keep going. And it was this really, for me personally, it was like, you hit your limit and I'll break through it type of moment. And that's where I think people find the most amount of value in anything they do.
I've been down that path a few times.
Yeah. Cause it's like, that's where people always say, this is something I've been thinking about a lot.
That happens in deer hunting. It's like, you got to drag the deer out.
Yeah.
I'm assuming people stop or quit or deer get left behind. I don't know if those are trophy hunters or people that just can't do it. Those are the only two people that would do it.
Dude,
I've never done it.
No.
And I feel like the lungs are going to collapse. So you take a break.
Right.
But it's got to get done.
It does.
And sometimes you're in such thick, nasty shit and the bugs are getting to you and it's not good. And you're like,
it's not fun.
Power through, because the only way out is through it.
Yeah.
And so you just got to keep doing it.
I know. And I was like, there was one guy that I know that went elk hunting and it was 2 guys, they got an elk and they each got like a quarter of it and they had to go back for at least one, if not 2 more trips. And one of the dudes got it out and he was just like, I'm not doing that again. And he was like, come, dude, it's not that bad. He's like, I'm not doing that again. Here's $1,000, call a pack horse. I ain't doing it. And he was just
he just hit his limit.
He bought his way out. Right. Which I think is like, can be.
I did that in college once. It's like, I'm like, someone can write this paper for me. Right.
Right.
It's not cheating. It's going to get done. I read the book.
Right.
I need to leave for vacation tomorrow.
I need someone else to write this.
My wife's like, you piece of shit. I was like, this is different. I'm a grown man. I went to school. I'm working full time. I'm not a traditional student.
Right.
And I was like, already like having been in business and stuff. And I was like, dude, you pay people to get shit done in real life.
That is very true.
But not dragging out a deer. That's where I draw
the
line.
Was, and that's like I think about a lot, like people will say it's not the trophy, it's the journey. And you always like wonder like, no, dude, I want that fucking trophy. Like if you're playing soccer, if you're playing football, like, and you're trying to get
the journey you have to go through to get the trophy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes it the trophy.
Exactly. And that's why I think when you're trying to do something hard, something difficult that other people can't do, it's not necessarily that at the end of the day that you did it. Because think about all the times where like you're like, oh, I'm going to try to get to 100 episodes of Okayest Hunter, or I'm going to try to do something. And then you get there and you're like, oh, what more can I do? That's like your very next thought is, I did $10,000 in hat sales this year. Can I do 15? It's not, you don't sit there and go, hey, like I did 10,000, and then you sit there and
then you're done.
And you're done.
Well, I think Goggins said somewhere along the lines, he said there is no finish line.
Right.
There's no finish line in like anything you do. You just keep existing, or you don't, because like one day you're gonna die.
Right.
Like that's the stoicism stuff that Marcus Aurelius talks about. He's like, one day you're gonna be just as forgotten as every other human that's ever been forgotten.
Yep.
So like it helps just to put things into perspective, because what you're doing, yes, it's important, but also like in the grand scheme of things,
is it?
You know. So that the importance then lies in between there. It's like the importance is, what are you getting out of life?
Yeah.
You know, like it.
Well, and how are you moving that on? Right.
Yeah.
So like that's one of the things with my kids is like, you know, Allie and I make above average money, and we were talking about it the other day, and we were like, so the one thing we can't do is allow our kids to be snobby little shits, and
which is hard when you get to that level. That's a whole different thing.
They still get like off, if they want cereal, you don't get Lucky Charms, you get the off-brand Food Club Charms. Like, and we live that lifestyle to make sure that they understand that they don't like, and I take money from my kids. Like, you leave the lights on, I get a quarter.
Nice.
Like, so we're trying to make sure that they understand.
We just started doing allowance for ours this week.
Oh, nice. That has not come up yet in our household.
I mean, it's not a lot, but it's fun because they're like, they enjoy the tasks.
Well, yeah, they get the task and they get the dollar, right, or
like
whatever it is. Just
it's pretty sweet.
So it is. It's good. But like I think that's where it really comes down to is like I got on the thing about the kids is because it's what you pass on and how you move,
your
move
legacy.
things along. Yeah. But you gotta have the journey to make the trophy mean anything. Because if everybody shot a 200-inch buck, people would be looking for a 300-inch buck. And if everyone shot a 300, people would like, it just doesn't mean anything if everyone gets it. I feel like humans in general, we crave unique or hard to get things because not because they're unique and hard to get. It's because other people can't get them, so that we can have them. And that's the point. That's why I think that's really why guys chase 200s and why guys like.
For the record, I've never chased a 200. I don't know that they exist where I hunt. And if they did, there's not a snowball's chance in hell I'm going to have it, unless it's just pure luck and everything goes right. But I guarantee if I had a shot at one, I'd find a way to mess that up. That's a whole different conversation.
No, it is, but it's just like, I mean, that's why people chase bigger deer, right? I mean, it's like you can't eat the horns. Like, you know, if you're gonna, if every deer were the same size and you got 100 pounds of meat off of them, you wouldn't give a fuck about the rack.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I guess I'm saying that wrong, but if that's what your goal was the meat, then that's like, it wouldn't matter the rack size, but people chase 140s, 150s, 160s.
Yeah. The thing we talked about on the show over the years is like, it signifies maturity of animal, which means it's harder to kill, which means it's harder to get. So it's not all, I mean, really, they are trophies at some point, like that you can hang on your wall, and then they're memories that you're mounting. Shout out to Rack Hub, by the way. It's like their slogan, I think, mounting memories. But I look at these deer and I know I remember every literal single detail about it.
Yeah, the journey.
So that's part of it. But also, they freaking look amazing down here.
You're
damn right. When I built this room, I wanted a deer on both sides of this wall. Like that was part of the goal. And like, I'd be remiss to tell you the otherwise. That's definitely part of it. But the older it is, the more challenging it is, because I've seen young deer and old deer and how they behave. The old deer behave quite differently.
They do.
They're a lot harder to kill. Damn it.
Right.
And I'm like, I'll be damned with my competitive nature. I'm going to keep getting skunked by these assholes. I'm going to figure out one day. And if I don't, I'll keep chasing the encounters, and it's fun.
And it still comes back to like, you're after, like in that scenario, you're after the journey.
Yeah.
You're after the fun.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like you get the trophy, and it's when you tell people about it, you're not like, oh, you see this point's 6 inches, this point's 3 inches.
Yeah.
Some guys are like that, very few. But most people are like, oh, dude, I hunted this thing for 2 years and I screwed up this scenario and I screwed up that scenario. And this was then finally caught up with it. Caught them on my cameras at this time. Like it's all about, because they want to sit down and tell you the story. Right.
Yeah. There's always a good story.
Yeah.
And even if it's not a good story, it's kind of like, if it happens quick, that's still a good story.
It is. Yeah. And that can be.
You're like, wow, I can't believe it came together like that,
Right.
If it's a long story, it's like, holy shit, that's a long, wow. It doesn't, anytime you're talking about like killing a deer or hunting a deer, it's like, it's a shared experience. I've talked about this term shared experience. It's 2 words. That's not a term, but I've mentioned it in the context of hunting that it goes both directions in time. We're sharing an experience with people that don't live anymore. And we're sharing experience with people that will come into existence and do this. And the people that are presently sharing that experience, when we talk about it, why any hunting podcast I think can have any success is because you're playing it in your mind. And there's a high component of relatability through this shared experience, because if you've ever had a deer come close to your stand, we've all felt what that feels like.
Yeah.
We can picture it. We understand what's happening and the things that you have to take like precaution of and care of, and how you deal with the situation. How every movement has to be so liquidly smooth. Otherwise, like, you're busted. Or if the wind changes or thermal changes, like the people that have done this longer, the more in depth you can get about it. But it's a shared experience, and I think that's what hunting is so cool. That's what's so cool about it, is we can all kind of relate. And that's why I get pissed about all the drama and infighting, because guys, this is a shared experience, and we all have our subtle differences in like what bow we use or broadhead and all the stuff. Like, so what?
I just don't even care.
But I do want to talk about broadheads, because I shot a deer last year with a and I don't care, the brand's irrelevant. It's a good brand. There's nothing wrong with the brand at all. But it was a single bevel, and there was no blood. In part because it was a high shot, so the blood wasn't going to get up to drain out anyways. But the cut diameter and the way that it's like sliced through the skin, like the wound like closed up. And there's a downward trajectory, so you think there would have been blood. There was nothing. And I'm like, wow, I've never used a mechanical, but now I'm kind of thinking maybe I want to. And then I was watching the Hunting Public the other day, and they were doing this breakdown, shooting through a hog into a target block, and they were doing all these different, broadheads, and the Beast broadhead was like quite impressive.
Is that
the Bomar one?
Bomar broadhead?
And that comes with a stigma, because it's Bomar.
It's Josh.
And I met the dude, and he seems nice enough in person. He's also huge, so I would never talk shit to his face.
He is a very large man.
And who knows? Like, people like that probably get a little bit more attacked by media than someone that isn't. Like, of course they would. But there's some laughable components about how that guy carries himself.
Oh, absolutely.
So then you're like kind of mad that the product's good, because you're like, I don't want to support that, but it's also like, well, it's fucking good. And this brings me back to Gary Vaynerchuk stuff. He's like, the market is the market is the market. And if the product is good enough and there's product market fit, then people will do it. Just like the hat example. If it's expensive versus, people are going to do the thing that is the best thing or the most affordable. And I'm kind of going, man, damn it, I feel like I want to.
Aren't they $40 a piece?
I don't know.
$30 a piece.
I think like Iron Will are really expensive.
They're the same. I think the Beast broadheads are like slightly less expensive than Iron Wills.
And I think Iron Will are great too. I hadn't killed a deer with an Iron Will because I hadn't shot those the times I had hit a deer.
Sure.
And I lost them all. So like, that's a lot of money to just lose.
It is. It absolutely is. Iron Wills are expensive.
But then you watch the video and this thing's like, and that's just one video, but the reviews are, and the people have said great things about them. I'm trying to think of the other ones that are good. Like, I've heard of Schwacker's been around for a long time.
Schwacker's been around.
And what's the other expandable?
Sever. I mean, you got Rages for sure. But Sever was the other. When I was looking at broadheads a couple years ago, this is funny how you go through like cycles when you look through, like, as a
I did the heavy arrow thing. I did this fine.
But like, you get your setup and you like try a bunch of things for like, I don't know, maybe a season or two, and then you find your setup and you're like, this is my setup. I'm done. And you're like happy with it for like, because
you don't want to
you don't want to redo the whole thing.
I've had to refigure this room like 5 times. Because I've got new equipment and new cameras and new stuff. And it's like, God, and it introduces new problems.
It does.
I'm like, oh, I didn't have to think of that before.
That was something I was thinking while I was like, maybe we could talk about tuning on the podcast today. But I was like,
maybe if Greg was here,
dude, but I mean, because then when you anything you change up, like, oh, I want to put on a heavier broadhead, or I want to shoot a high FOC, or I want to increase my poundage, or I want to switch to a thumb button, so I get an extra ½ inch on my draw length. It all changes how the shit fucking flies. And so you're just like, once you find something after you like,
You
I
had to
had
just chill there for a
years
while.
of issues, and then I was finally found a setup, and I worked through it, and then I worked through it, and then last year I had the Carbonera from Elite for a while, and that thing was great, and now I got this new one, but I got to go through the process again.
I did it I went from this bow, the Bear Legend, to the Bear Persist.
Yeah.
And this one's still set up because I wasn't sure. And the Persist is a great bow, and I got to shoot fine for me.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to shoot more than 30 yards at a deer in the field.
Sure.
So then I go to these archery events. I'm like, if it's over 40, guys, I don't really care what's happening because that's not what's really going to happen because I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So as long as I'm good within that range, I'm kind of like, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept all this there just in case I had a plan B, or if I drop.
Oh yeah.
As Greg says, he drop tuned his bow a couple of times. So like, I never thought I'd have two bows.
But here you are with
but now I have two bows, and it's very intentional at this point because I'm a little like, I'm worried, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the broadheads go, though, so I was saying, like, you go through these cycles, and at that point, I bought some Schwackers. I didn't buy Severs. Beast weren't out yet, and then I bought some Iron Wills, and I had something else. I had one other brand, and I ended up just sticking with the Iron Wills. They flew great and everything, but I shot a couple of the Schwackers at deer, and they did great. Like I had no problem.
If you hit the deer where you're supposed to, probably anything will be great.
Yeah,
but that's just not how it always goes.
But it's weird. It's weird that you say you didn't get a blood trail at all.
I didn't get a blood trail.
That can be like, shoot 3 more deer with that and see if you don't.
Yeah,
because that's one of the other hardest part about these things.
Base off of one experience. It's like driving a truck and you're like, "Ooh, I hate that brand because it did this." It's like, well, that was just right. It's like going to a restaurant. Maybe you just had a bad server that time. You can't fault a restaurant for that.
Exactly. And the other hard part is you can't replicate the same scenario. 100%. It's really hard. So like Aaron Snyder.
I did. Well, actually, let me take that back because I think I shot. I have to go back and look. I don't remember. When I shot a doe from the ground at 30 yards, full pass through.
No blood?
Good, some blood, but
not great.
We never found her.
Okay.
And I'm convinced this day that she probably was dead somewhere. And Greg's like, "No, you hit her high." And
I don't know.
He's obviously oddly sure of himself. And I was like, "Man, I don't like. How do you get a full pass through on this thing?" And like, I was like, "Well, there's no man's land." I was like, I have it on video. You can see the whole thing. But what had happened is like the arrow. I know not everyone listening at some point can see this, but the arrow broke right here at the tape.
Okay.
So full pass through.
So you got like 20 some inches.
And when she ran off, this was still like I recovered the arrow up to this point. So I had the broadhead, the sleeve, and the arrow all actually was up to it was past the tape because I had blood on the tape. And then when she ran off, I saw this in her. So in my mind, in the moment, I was like, it didn't pass through. It's still stuck in her because I saw her run off with the fletchings.
Yeah.
I never found the fletchings. I found the arrow right where I shot her.
Oh.
So I was like, did the fletchings clog up the hole?
It
was weird, dude. It was a strange thing. I was like, how did that happen? This is what I shot last year.
Oh, nice.
These are the grizzly sticks.
Oh, you shot grizzly sticks. So you did do expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, grizzly sticks. I've only heard good things about them.
They're great. I mean, that's what I think the whitetail adrenaline guys use those.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense.
I
can see them.
They shoot well out of my setup, and they're for my setup. Like, but
that's
why I changed the broadhead.
The one Aaron Snyder does a really good job. He goes, and I think he does a good job because he shoots like 30 to 50 animals a year. And so he will throw on the broadheads and he'll go shoot a bunch. He'll go to Texas. He'll go to Alabama. He'll go to Texas. Did I already say that? Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, whatever, and shoot a whole bunch of deer or a whole bunch of pigs. And then he'll be like, hey, this broadhead is good. This broadhead isn't great. And so I put more of my faith in that than the ballistic gel tests, because it's just like, I just don't think that's truly an accurate.
There's no bones in the gel.
Yeah, it's a penetration test. Yeah. Like you could that's fair.
It's energy, like you're seeing.
Yeah, I just don't think it's like reality when it comes down to it. And I think replicating the actual scenario is tough. I've had great success with iron wills, but I know guys who are like, dude, I just don't shoot fixed blades. I'll shoot mechanicals.
And I like the idea of fixed blade because I don't have to rely on a mechanical event to take place.
Right.
Like it's just going to work. There's not a lot of opportunity for a mechanism to fail.
Right.
But then these other ones, they fucking produce these huge holes.
Yeah.
And they're just blood. Yeah. But I'm like, do I want a blood trail or do I want a dead animal? Well, like, I don't know. In some cases, if I don't have a blood trail to the dead animal, I might not find the dead animal.
Yep.
Like that's a concern.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm like in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm very undecided right now.
So Chad, my buddy Chad shoots iron wills.
Yeah.
He shot a buck, I don't know, 3 years ago, at 15 yards from a tree stand, almost like at like a 60-degree angle down. Like it was like really close to him. And he shot that thing, and the entry wound was, a couple inches. It's just like an iron will, but the exit wound was like 5 inches. Like it was huge. And that thing poured blood and it ran 30 yards and tipped. So that was great. Last year he shot one, and he shot it high, kind of in no man's land.
Yeah, the high stuff.
Yep.
Fucks
and
me.
he got he said that he saw his arrow sticking out of it when it ran through. And then we backed out. We found decent blood, but we backed out because it wasn't dead right away. And we had a dog on it, and we went, dude, it had to be like 600-700 yards.
Oh, that's way too far.
Yeah, it was a long ways, and we ended up calling it because the dog couldn't find it. The dog lost it. It took us like 2 hours. We waited a few hours, and we ended up calling it. And a week later, that buck was on camera running around. And then 3 weeks later, I got him again, and he has an open wound on one side, and you can almost see the broadhead poking out the other side, but it's in him. So, and we were trying to kill him for a couple of days. Like when we were there, we were just like, all right, he is over in this area. So we would just set up in that area, and we just kind of chased him around the property when we get camera pictures of him. But we never found him. So I don't know. Like, and I pulled cameras at the end of season. So I don't know. Yeah. If he lived or not or what, but like, I mean, you find deer with broadheads.
The one I shot last year that I'm talking about, I'm pretty certain he lived, and you'll see the footage for season 3 of the show.
Okay.
All that is documented. And it'll be fun to watch back. Fun's not the right word here, but I told the video guy, Caleb, I was like, you're one of very few people to see me this way, because I'm not okay right now. And I was getting very short and direct and like mean.
Okay.
Because I was getting so worked up about the situation, because I was so mad that this thing was injured.
Yeah.
And I was like, nothing is adding up. I couldn't make sense of the situation. And then it was dark. I lost my field of like my vantage point. So then I had Derek come out. I was like, and everyone saw the video, and they're like, that's dead. It's a dead deer. And I was like, no, it's not. It's not. I don't like, there's no blood. It was very confusing. And then a drone guy showed up. I was like, fuck it, let's call a drone guy. So I need to figure this out. There just so happened to be another dead deer on the property, a dead buck. And so Derek's like, that's your deer. We found him. I was like, hold on, something's not right here. There's a lot of fur around this thing.
Oh.
It was a decomposing deer. And it was throwing off a heat signature because it had so much like heat from the gastro stuff.
Gross.
And I was like, that dead deer is bigger than my deer. And the drone guy's like, people usually say the opposite. He's like, I'm surprised you're being honest. I was like, I'm not tracking this thing all the way into that shit, because where it was shit.
Okay.
To find a decomposed deer that's not mine.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm not just going to go. That's not what we're here for.
Right.
And so we had shined a deer right on the get. But the drone guy, just communication is challenging, right? He's trying to make sense of the whole thing, and we're trying to make sense of the whole thing. And he misinterpreted what we had said about where the deer would be. So the first deer he had seen, he didn't realize that was the area that he should have been focused on. And that deer, it was a buck, ran like a bat out of hell, which at this point, this is the first deer I've seen react to the drone light.
Sure.
So I don't know. Every single deer after that, every single deer, and there must have been like 20 to 30 deer he shined. They didn't give a shit, dude. They're like, hey, drone, Like they didn't care. They didn't move. They didn't flinch. They weren't running away. Nothing. And then so I was like, well, let's go back to that first year because you could rewind and stuff. And it was kind of doing this, like gimping a little bit, and it was moving like its life depend on it. And he's like, we've seen this before. If it's a shoulder hit, they're really sensitive to activity because they're like, they just, imagine someone just shot you in the shoulder. You'd be like, stay away. Don't get like, you'd be freaking out. And hindsight being 2020, that was the deer. So by the time we figured that out, we couldn't find that deer again. So he like left Dodge. He was out. But the way that he was moving, they're like, dude, that deer's gonna probably live. He's not dead. And I was like, okay, well, at least I think a little better. But had I have actually tracked him, I would have just kicked him up.
Right. And it would have been the same scenario.
So it was not great. I did learn a lot more about the area just based on where that deer went to go, like deal with his injury.
Sure.
Because he went to the thickest freaking spot you could possibly think of. And that's the same spot I've seen 150-inch deer come out of. And so I'm kind of like,
the dirty brush.
Now I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
A little better. It doesn't make it any easier to hunt. It's that's the reason he was there. Like it's not a huntable spot, which is something Derek has said, like hunt the spots that are huntable. I'm like, oh, okay, real fresh there, jackass. Like, how am I going to do that? I love the guy. So it's funny. But
that's funny.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how that's all going to play out on the TV screen because I haven't watched other than like that micro moment of like seeing the footage a million times of where I hit the deer before it ran off. I didn't see anything else. I didn't see my reaction. I just knew I was like not okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, no one turn that camera off. I'm not doing good. He's like, oh, sorry, man. I was like, I'm just letting you know I'm not trying to be mean to you. It was like when I got my tattoo, I was like, just get it fucking done. Do you want me to take a break? I swear to God, if you stop, I'm gonna choke you out. Just get it done. It agitated me so bad that I was like feeling violent.
Oh man, that's how I feel.
I'm not normally that way.
Yeah. That's me in the heat when I'm hungry.
Oh, so yeah, the running thing wouldn't work for you.
I'm not a fan. The other day,
I'm like, come on, Anthony, that's your 6 minutes a mile. He'd be like, I'm gonna kill you.
Fuck you. How far are we going? I'm just gonna get it done. See ya.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, the other day I literally got in the car and we were loading up to go to my friend's house, my friend, and we were gonna go spend the night there and we were gonna drink and have a good time. And we get in the car and my wife's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, fucking hot."
Did you not realize you were hungry?
We have too much stuff. I'm hungry as shit. Like, just leave me. I'm really crabby. Just leave me.
They don't like when you're crabby with them. They can be the other way around.
Right? I know.
Yeah. Because then they get mad that you're mad, and now you have to like, no, I can't be mad anymore because I have to deal with you being mad that I'm mad.
Yeah. Exactly. So I was just like, just let me. I'm trying not to be mad at you, so just let me.
Give me some space.
Let me turn on the AC in this car and like give me 10 minutes, and I'll be okay.
That's hilarious. Do you remember when you got bit up by bugs real bad turkey hunting? That one spring, like you were totally through, and I was like, "Nah, that's weird. I'm fine." Like I hate mosquitoes. That's the other thing that'll get me is mosquitoes.
Oh yeah, those things are so annoying. I killed that turkey that I killed this year.
Did you?
Was right where?
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me that.
Yeah. Cool. I got that one for you.
We hunted a really awkward area to hunt. We hunted the driftless, and that's not like an easy spot to kill birds.
That is not an easy spot.
The
most tags are over there.
Well, all the access is easements for trout fishing. So like the property. It seems like there's a ton of public, but it's not. It's all like bottoms.
Yeah, you got to do like you'd have to run up to like Kickapoo.
Tyler's brother-in-law or some family member had a farm, so he got us onto that, and I was like, "This is clutch." And then we almost got it done there, but they just never came close enough.
Dude, yeah, that area, man. My buddy of mine hunts in public, and he ended up in the right spot a couple years in a row. But he's like, yeah, dude, I walked in and I had to do some trout stream stuff and it took me forever to get in. But I ended up sitting down and I was 50 yards from where they were roosted. They just came right to me. He goes,
sounds great.
Right? Yeah. He said like one of the birds he shot, he said, I shot it and I was able to shoot it, recover it, and take a picture with it as the sun was rising.
Oh, that's amazing.
He was like, it's pretty sweet. He's like, I was out of the woods by like 6:30 or whatever.
That's cool.
But dude, that area, because the playground's in that area, I haven't been able to kill a bird at the playground.
That's tricky, dude. There's a lot to consider. I don't know. That's tough stuff, but no. Yeah, anyway, so your shoots August
16th,
16th and 17th.
It's the weekend after yours.
Okay. And where do people sign up? How do they is it open to everybody?
It is. It's open to anybody. You just go to deervein.com and register right there. It's a Google form. You just punch it in.
Okay.
I get an email, and then I will send you I send you a calendar invite for it so you get it all. Yeah. So yeah, deervein.com, or if you don't have, you can go to there.
Okay.
It's fine. I usually say you can come onto the socials and just DM me and I'll sign you up.
Yeah.
But if you don't have socials, then yeah.
Okay. And then ours is OkayestHunter.com. We have an events page under our about. You can go there. You can Google it. I'm sure you'd find it. If you type in Foam Fest Okayest Hunter, I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah.
And that's coming up soon.
Yeah, it is. And those I can't recommend them. I used to not do shoots very often. Then I started doing them. And I cannot tell you, September, 15th, 16th is when season starts this year, something in that time frame. And to be able to get out there a month in advance and shoot your bow and be like,
it builds a lot of confidence.
Yeah, or I'm not ready. Like,
I'm not ready. Either you're gonna have a lot of confidence, or you're gonna realize you need to figure some shit out.
Exactly, and that's the best part about it, is because
you have to buy more arrows.
30 days, yes, or you have to buy more arrows. Yeah, right. You can always choose not to shoot the target.
Next week being the 15th, I'm on the fence as to whether or not we'll have a podcast next week, because next week is move-in. The 15th is the move-in date for our space, and I don't know what to do for internet, how that's all going to come together, and if it'll come together before then. If it does, I'll try to putz around and get something done. It's not going to be ready, but it could be fun to we recorded in here when it wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't matter.
We just had drywall up and it wasn't painted, and we just, Derek was in here. I don't even think I had the carpet in yet, and we're ripping an episode. So I'm all about flying planes or building planes while they fly. That's my MO.
I think for you personally, when you're 70 years old, your kids are watching these things, you'd be like, remember this was the podcast we shot? That's some of the times you got to do it for yourself.
But if we don't have internet, then it won't probably happen. And I'm going to be so anxious, not in an anxiety way, but the anticipation to get into the space. That's going to be having been built up. So I don't know if we'll be back next week. And if we are, it'll look very different. So just stand by and see. Very exciting. Maybe we'll do a watch party for when the show launches. I'm getting the first batch of episodes this week. Not fully done, but just directionally, so I understand the layout of them. I think there'll be 8 episodes. They should all be 20 to 30 minutes long. So quite a bit different than we did the last couple of years, where they're 8 minutes long, and there's a whole bunch of them. These will have a little bit more meat on the bone because we had more time with the camera folks. And it follows me, Derek, and Greg around, and I don't know
all your adventures.
We never remember. It's kind of what happened again, and you're watching it for the first time yourself. So sometimes, I never really even know what we're getting into. But maybe we'll do a watch party there with a keg.
That'd be fun. You don't have to do a keg.
We can shoot our bows there. I can't shoot my bow around our own house. You talked about just going outside and shoot.
Yeah.
Where I live, you see it here. Houses are fairly close. I live on a hill, so everyone in the back, I'd be shooting over their roofs if one got out. And I have 2 dogs that look like deer. I have 3 kids, 2 cats. All of these things can be outside at any point in time. It's just really hard to find space. Then my neighbors are bugging me for stuff in a good way.
Yeah.
But having a space to shoot my bow is going to feel pretty great. So I'm really excited for that too. I might just be going there to shoot my bow, not do any work at all.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome. I'm excited for you.
So
that was when I talked with what's his name? Working Class Bow Hunter, Kurt. Geyer. I had him on my podcast I don't know, 2 years ago or whatever, when he moved to his new shop. And I was like, what made you feel like you could make the leap and quit your job? And he was like, oh, dude, the big thing for me was moving to my new shop. And I know you're not.
Yeah.
I know
I'm
not super into that.
Yeah.
But it's just a good feeling of
legitimizing.
Here's the podcast studio. Right.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I was at his, and that was actually pretty inspiring. I was like, what they've done with the place to customize everything to have I think one of their guys welds, and so he had welded the Working Class logo into a lot of the metal brackets and things around. Okay. This is very eclectic too. They had all their trophies up. You walk in, there's a studio, there's a bar. They bought the other half of the building. There's bunk beds in there for people to have deer camp. That's where they keep all their merch and do their fulfillment and store stuff. And it was cool. I was like, dude, this is a special space. It was really neat. So I enjoyed going there. It was pretty neat. And then Kevin was there with Deer Hunter. So it was cool to have us. I've been talking to these guys for years, as long as I've been talking to you, it was just kind of neat to do that. But that was pretty motivating. I was like, man, I know we've been kind of tentatively looking, and then something popped up and we looked at it. I was like, this checks we had a very specific list of demands. This checks all of them. And so we're kind of like, dude, at this point, it checks all our boxes. Like, what are we going to do? This is it. Now we have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And Tyler's like the financial guy. And he's like, we're going to get a coffee pot, right? I was like, wait, yeah, we'll get a coffee pot.
That's what you're concerned about?
I'm not even kidding. Like a couple hours later, he sent me a link to like 8 different coffee pots. He's like, which one do you think? I was like, wow, you're really into this coffee thing. I was like, I'm not.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
Fantastic. I don't know. Whichever one you want, buddy.
I was like, whatever, dude. Why don't you pick? No, I need you to vote on it.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
So I did. And he's like, all right, I got to drive. It's a used coffee pot. He's like, I got to drive to West Bend to get the coffee pot. I was like, bro, it's not till the 15th.
You got some time.
And Derek lives in West Bend. He can bring the coffee pot. Oh, yeah, it's a good idea. Okay. I'm like, all right. So I know what your priorities are.
Right. I need the coffee pot. That's fantastic. Dude, I have been, Oh man. No, that is exciting.
Yeah.
That is super
exciting. I'll show you pictures of it. It's pretty lackluster and all honesty.
How long have you guys been thinking about trying to get a space?
It's been a goal of mine for forever. Mainly because, like I mentioned, when we do this podcast, Holly, my wife, it's not very clean today. Summer's a shit show. The kids had swim lessons today, then ninja camp. Now they're at the sports mixer. Like, dude, it is all hands on deck for like summer. So when I have Derek and Greg over, she still cleans because it's like there's still people come to my house. I'm like, it's just Derek and Greg. They've been coming here for years. Like, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal to me. So like, nothing else. The bathroom has to be clean. I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's that, and then she takes the kids to grandma's to get them out of the house so they're not bouncing around off the walls. And for a while, she was making dinner for people in the crock pot. And so it's kind of like, it'd be weird. It'd be good to not have like dudes I don't actually know coming to the house on Tuesdays and coming into my home.
Yeah.
Like when it was upstairs, that was real awkward. I was like, they're coming into my upstairs. It's like an intimate space, you know, like my kids' bedrooms are up there. It's where my bedroom is. So then they came down here and I felt a little better. And then over time, we just been like, man, it'd be good to get it out. So anyway, it's always kind of been there. And then within the last 9 months, 12 months, we've been looking more.
That's when you created your list of demands.
Yeah. Like price was a big one. But then like, we didn't want a retail space because we want to like shoot our bows. Like if we're going to do this, we need to be able to shoot our bows like that. Cause we both live in places where like, that's not doable. It's just kind of pain. Anyway, so it's a 2,000 square foot, spot, and there's already 2 spots carved out for studio essentially, and like the rest is just kind of open. So
perfect.
We're gonna bring the trade show booth that's in my garage. All those pallets are just stacked up in my garage, taking up a ton of space. We're gonna get those out of there and put them to use at the new digs and just stuff like that. So it'll be good. Yeah,
dude, that'll be awesome. That'll be way cool. I'm excited to see it. 15.
Same.
All right. So launch parties. When's the launch party? I
don't know. That's a good, probably sometime after that.
Yeah.
Because then we got to switch gears and get ready for Foam Fest in a hurry, and then it's hunting season. So I don't know. It's when it feels good enough, I suppose.
Well, put it out.
Yeah.
Put it out on the socials.
If people want to help us build and paint and do some things, we're gonna be balling on a budget. So we'll need some help probably.
Yeah. Dude, that is one of the nicest things about the hunting industry and the people within it is like there's so many good, helpful craftsmen. It's like, oh, dude, you need a welder? I got you.
Greg built this table. Built is a relative term, but I remember he showed up, and I felt like that was the thing that made us legit. And we've had this table ever since.
Perfect.
Since Greg joined the studio. If anyone's been listening long enough, the moment Greg came on board is when this table showed up, and I was like, "We have a table! This is amazing!" He's like, "It's just 2 pieces of wood." He's like, legit. I built it in like 10 minutes. I was like, really?
Perfect.
Man, I couldn't build a table. So it's just it's pretty neat.
Good, dude. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Check out Deer Veins podcast, Anthony's podcast. Check out his shoot. He's got some cool merch also, and you put out some good content. You get a lot more into the tactical stuff, I think.
I do. Yep. I texted you the other day. I really appreciate all the content you guys have been putting out. Like, it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, we do more BS than anything. Yeah. But that's why there's dropping pins now. And the network. We have a freaking network of shows. So there's something for everybody, probably.
There is.
But yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for coming here tonight,
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's always fun to catch up.
You bet.
Before and after and during the show.
The whole thing.
The whole shebang.
Nate Mann just commented, said, love Deer Vein.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Catch y'all later.
There we go.